All right, happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to your daily lighting critique. We have all of our normal image submissions, but we're actually going to get started by a question that was sent to me from Abhishek yesterday. And that was actually talking about, so the specifics of the question, because we were seeing these like lines underneath. It's like basically what it is you've got this warm light coming in, it's hitting the ground and bouncing light up underneath here is what it looked like. And that's why it was causing this like extreme kind of underlighting. And while I think it's kind of cool, it was just a little bit too much. So we talked about separating out the indirect lighting pass and modifying it, and then basically lessening that effect. So what he did was he sent me over his raw render. And one thing I do want to say is that like I'm actually not seeing it in the raw render. So I'm wondering if something else is going on in the comp. But that being said, I still wanted to exemplify the idea of breaking out a separate element and making adjustments to it and then adding it back in. So basically, we'll do what I built here from scratch, just so you can kind of see it. So we'll start with just the raw image. And what you want to do before doing any sort of color adjustments or anything, and I'll explain what this kind of means here in just a sec, but you want to unpremult. And then at the end, you want to pre-multiply it again. So this is always like a thing in Nuke. This is like kind of the sandwich. It basically does something and then does the exact inverse and brings it back to the way it was. So what actually is it doing? If we look at the original, you can see that if I look at the alpha channel, the edge of this has a gradient. So being that like, it's a little, just like a little soft back there. So some of the pixels, as we know, right, by the way, I'm looking at this number right here in white. So, most of the pixels in the center of an element are 1, right? Which is basically just purely opaque. And then you get some semi-transparent stuff along here on the edge. What happens is when you're doing color correction stuff, like if I was to take this and let's say, I wanted to make this image twice as bright, I multiplied it by 2. And let's say by chance I happen to have the RGBA turned on. This is just like an extreme example of this. If I went in here and I look back at that edge, I could see, this is the original, and then this was after that. You can see that the alpha is changing because I'm multiplying everything by 2. And what ends up happening is your edges get thicker and thicker and thicker, which means it's actually grabbing some of this, more of the black background, and that's how you end up with like these black halos around things. So the way that you get around that is that you actually create this unpremult and premult. And what these do is I'll just show you. So basically the unpremult takes anything that is in the alpha channel, anything that has any value at all, and it just makes it solid white. So it ends up making the edges look kind of super chunky. You can see it around here. And then it does the exact opposite here at the end and brings them back. So basically it finds anything as an alpha. It's like, okay, grab this, make your adjustments, and then take it away. It just helps you from stacking that up. Sorry, that was a little bit of a digression, but I thought it was important to talk about. Okay, so in terms of breaking out your individual layers, we have a shuffle node, and you've got all your AOVs rendered out. And actually I can grab this from either source, but I'll just grab it from the unpremulted version. And then from here, you can select what you want. So in this case, we were talking about, just grabbing the indirect light. Am I in the alpha? Huh. Why that's not showing up? Weird. I think I broke something. Oh, I see what I did. I broke it. So you can see all those connections I somehow disengaged. All right, so let's go. We'll find the indirect render pass here. And you can see that now this is all of the indirect light. So with indirect light is any light that's bouncing off surrounding surfaces. Now, what do I want to do with this? Because if I just added this back in, it would just kind of add on top of what was already created. So what you want to do in your first step is you want to take that out of the original image. And it's as easily as adding a merge node, putting the A in the original and the B in that shuffle, and just saying like, I want to minus that out. So you're basically taking this and you're subtracting out all of these values. So now what we have is, this is basically what the image would look like without any sort of indirect light. So this is just the direct light contributions.
Would you, really quickly, would you change that from minus to from, and is there a difference?
Let me see.
Okay, interesting.
No, it's I just needed to switch them around. It's this happens a lot in Nuke, is that they have two that are the exact same thing, but it's just swapping out. Right. It's just swapping out the AB. So
A from A from
B,
this and
or
A minus this. Yeah,
exactly. Like I always say it in a sentence, and that's how. Like I literally just did that before I added the minus, and that's how I knew to switch them. I was like, minus is okay. The original minus that. Okay, we'll keep this as from, because I think it's all the same.
I mean, it's fine. I've switched to this method of doing the AOVs where I render out the light groups as separate things.
Yeah.
And that way I have like, because what I was doing was rendering out the hero, and then I was like basically plussing all the AOVs together to get like to recreate my hero image, and then like adjusting on that line. But it got cumbersome, and it got. I know that's not how professionals do it. So
by the way, there is. I mean, it's probably getting better now, but like for a long time there was no like, oh, this is just how professionals are doing it.
Yeah, I know, but I think it is moving to more like a like a pipeline, like an assembly line thing. But anyway, so I kind of switched to this method because I've seen this method before quite a bit, and I was having issues with minus. Anyway, sorry, I'm monopolizing the conversation.
You're good. No, you're perfect. So basically, all I was doing was just then now that we've had this subtracted or frommed out of it, you can take this, and then there's usually like a grade node or some sort of correction node, and then you can plus it back in. You can also, depending on, because I think this one doesn't have, this one doesn't have an alpha, so I think plussing just fine. You could also probably, could you over it too? Yeah, I think it does the same thing in this particular case. But either way, you can now take this, and now you have this grade node or color correct or blur or like whatever you want to do to it. You can then take this in and then just like, you can isolate this back down or pick it back up. And then, within here, I can grab a roto, which is what I would have done in this situation if we were seeing these, and just like garbage matted out the area that I wanted this to go down. And then plug this into this. And then what happens is you can then control the indirect light in just a particular area. So that's the basic workflow. And then again, like once you do all your color correction stuff and layer stacking, then you come down to the end and you pre-multiply it, and then you can continue to add it down the pipeline. So that's my little spiel on that. Yeah. All right. Cool. Any questions there before we move on to some other stuff? Let's go through these in alphabetical order. Oh, I saved yours as is when they were AAA Ruby, so I think you cheated the system. No, you're good. All right, cool. So this was the previous version. We had the reference here. Yep. And now we've got the updated one. So let me just grab these, put these together. So, okay. Yeah, so what I was saying yesterday about some of the stuff that was going on. So we've got the basically like the I thought we could use some more saturation in the fill areas, and another big one was the background didn't feel like it was like in the same time of day. Like it felt more like an interior wall than an exterior wall. And because I think we have enough separation between the character and the background that we don't quite have to go that dark in order to get her to read. And I still think you could probably push it another degree up. Like looking at the reference, I think of like a value that would be good, but like she's so warm and she pops off so strongly that I think we could probably go another like double the intensity on the background and still be fine. with being able to read her, and then it would really help like tie the whole thing together a little bit more. I think the shaping on her looks really good. I would maybe try and get some more like specular shape on the fill side of her, like in her skin a little bit. But I like the shapes that we're seeing on her face and kind of coming around here are looking really good. Her clothes still look great. Flowers are looking really good. The only ones that kind of stood out to me were the ones that are hanging. It's a tough position. These that are hanging over here, and then also these that are hanging right here. They're just both feeling a little bit, like these might feel a little bit too saturated, especially the reds. And there's not a lot of shadow on them. And then these in here too. The interiors of these pink flowers feel a little bit too lifted. I would try and ground those, and maybe get like a little bit of ambient occlusion in there if possible, or something.
Okay.
What do you guys think? How are you guys feeling about this? Maybe these flowers down here too. They're so tricky.
So brighten those up.
I think they're bright enough. I think just getting a little bit more of a grounding shadow in their like just like a little bit.
Is
I feel like it must be really hard to hit that balance between what you're talking about in the first critique of having that transparency so that there isn't like a ton of ambient occlusion between the flowers and them not being too flat.
Yeah,
that'd be really hard.
It's really we always ended up having a lot of flowers in our shots. Like what was it when in Ferdinand when they announced like, oh, and then they're gonna go to the flower festival. I was like flip my desk. I was like, I'm out. I quit. I'm done. Like, Mike, you're gonna work on the flower. I did because I worked on the flower festival one night. I was like, oh my gosh, I hate everything. But it was like that stuff was really tricky. And Epic, we had a lot of flower stuff, and so you get better at it. But like it really that balance is so hard. It's really, really tricky because like you want them to be bright and beautiful, but also setting into the shadows and also like creating shaping without. Yeah, it's just getting a little bit of ambient light in there and a little bit of like it's more ambient than you would think it would be because they're so translucent and stuff. I'm sorry, Aaron, you were gonna say something too?
I mean, you could probably take it or leave it, but like, I mean, if it's a texture and you can add some kind of like a little bit of speck in that wall, like maybe, but I'm a sucker for speck. I love it. So
yeah, I agree. It's like on all this stuff. Like if you look, like in the stock image, like there's just like some like you can see some like extra shimmer up there. There's just like little subtle bits that are popping around that are really nice for that. But yeah, like see like these feel almost ambient, but then there's like because it's not like darkness in the shadow. It's just like darker of their hero color. And kind of the core of it a little bit. It's like really hard to break down. And then like in these almost look flat, but it's kind of a purpley color in the shadows. Not that so it's not like a magenta to black gradation. It's like a magenta to like purple fall off. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Really
yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's starting to really come together. Very cool.
So, question.
Yeah, it's the previous,
yeah. Sorry, is like going back to the reference. I feel like she might be looking too like mine is looking too golden, but like it's not really close to the reference.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, maybe.
Fine?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Try pulling it a little bit more to this orange because I think it might be like a little bit too much yellow. Yeah. I mean, some of that's because of her garment. Yeah, like a little more red.
Yeah.
Also, actually, I think it's fine. I was just say, like, I wonder if there's... But this is like a translucent veil going across here, so it's not going to cast much shadow. Yeah, that's good. Tricky shot, man. Really, really hard. All right, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, Aaron. So we got the previous version here. We've got the update here. I think... Yeah, this dino is starting to feel leathery and gross. I was looking at the lights, and I'm wondering. It's kind of tricky now. Like I like that we're seeing them less. I think, but what ends up happening is when we tone them down, they just like it doesn't feel like a light source anymore. So I'm almost wondering. Like I think this one is good. I'm almost wondering if we like and then brightening that one up. So I'm almost wondering if we should just eliminate those two. But
let me
also because they're like starting to look like eyes a little bit too.
Let me send you. I mess around with how many lights.
Mm-hmm.
Can I throw that in the lighting critique channel real quick?
Yeah, of course.
Lighting feedback. I took 2 out and I sized 1 up, and I don't know. It started feeling weird. Like, I mean, I get it. It's dead center, but it feels just massive and like.
Yeah, I think that's too big because what is it? Like the bulb is now as big as their heads.
Yeah, like it's
so
huge.
I think yeah. But I do like that.
I don't think they should all be the same level. Like if this was flickering, and honestly, like if I'm gonna do this camera pan, I could do some flickering.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would be kind of cool, because that's just a nuke animation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'll do some work this weekend, and I'll pump out a couple different versions with different amounts of light.
Yeah, and then
lights.
You've got this top down. I wonder too, maybe just like a touch of bounce light underneath, just to get that profile to read a little bit too.
Okay.
And then I'm wondering. Sorry, I'm looking at the tongue. I wonder if there's any way we can. Nah, I think that's fine.
Does it needs to be pink and spongy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're...
A little bit, like a touch of it. Like a little bit so it feels... But I don't know. Maybe not.
I put a point light inside the mouth because actually I remember in one of the bonus features they talk about in the original film that they actually had to put lights inside all the CG animals' mouths because they weren't scary enough without the light or something. Or it didn't read.
Because it's all like when you're afraid of something eating you, whether it's a shark or a dino or whatever, like
you want to draw attention to it.
You want because you're looking in their mouth. Like I don't want that tongue. I don't want those teeth. I don't want any part of that stuff. And so you want to be able to read that a little bit. Taking our eye off of the dino here a little bit, I think what we're seeing outside here is looking really good. I think maybe just a little bit more bounce up on them, like especially inside her core. But I think, and then it gets a little bit like he gets a little bit super saturated red warm on his screen right side, and in his fingers here. So maybe just pulling back that saturation a touch. Just like it's happening in the subsurface. What do you guys think? What are you all thinking?
I don't know if this would be better or not, but what do you think about maybe a little bit more? Just a touch more influence of light, like on the sides of the walls, just from the outside, maybe pulling back the saturation to make it a little bit more of a white light, like you're seeing outside.
Are you seeing it like coming into the room more, or just making this what's already there brighter, or both?
Either or, maybe play with both and see. Maybe you can even read the shape of the dinosaur. Maybe that's not what you want, but
it might.
Maybe if the light came in more, then you'd be able to see what the dinosaur looks like. That might not
be a bad idea.
So I have a question about this, because I'm actually going to go through this weekend and look through 90s reference. There is this is so incredibly nerdy. In the fandom, there is a distinct look between the first 3 films and the new set of films. And the difference is warm light in the original 3, especially the 2 Spielberg ones, and almost like a blue haze or LUT on like the entirety of this new franchise, and like depending on how much blue it is, you can go, okay, that's from the 90s or that's from 2015 onward. Like it's, so I'm trying to avoid introducing a ton of cool colors. Like I'm willing to go back into this original film and see what's going on. But like, even as I was like taking the saturation out of the light affecting the animal, I was like, deep in my core brain, I was like, oh, it's starting to look like something from the 2015 version. I don't know how I feel about that, you know?
Yeah. I'm trying to think Jurassic... The one
you can actually look up, if you look up Jurassic Park barcode, you can actually see an entire breakdown of, I would go to images, and then go further into images, or Jurassic Park movie barcode or something. I don't know. It's...
So this is the...
Here, I can...
Oh, like this? Like these?
Yes.
Things? Oh, yeah.
That one right there, and like... And so like what I'm going for is more like in that last quarter.
Mm-hmm. These are cool. I like stuff like this. So
I mean, it's cool because if you know the movie, you can like pinpoint exactly.
Yes. I don't know what this is right here.
I don't know either.
It's funny. But I was thinking, this, by the way, if you guys don't know, this is like each shot of the movie is being brought in as a strip. And then this just kind of creates like an overall color feel. I was going to look at I mean, it's really, I would watch the original movie because, oh God, see, look at these colors are all over the place. Like,
well, I'm sure they're from different versions. Like there was actually a recolor of the first movie in when they re-released it. They recolored it, so it's like, and then people taking them from the internet and doing what they want with them. You just have no idea.
Yeah. Like I don't know what's the right color, but this was the scene that popped into my head as like kind of cool, steely. Like I think whatever. That's funny. This is just a bunch of fan stuff. That's right. In this scene, there's like a guy's hand comes in and like pushes the raptor or something.
Yep.
All that. Yeah, I would look for that scene as like a kind of to exemplify the coolness of it. Very cool. All right, Austen. So this looks great in terms of the having the depth of field in there. I think it's a touch too strong just because the character is pretty far back from camera, and the way that depth of field works is like if something's close to camera, you can get like a lot of you can get a lot of blur back behind, but the second something gets further away, when you focus on it, actually the depth of field range opens up a little bit. So I would it's a long way of saying like I would just take down the blur by like 30%. But because what ends up happening is like, again, it just makes it look like a miniature. I say that a lot, but yeah. But I think other than that, it's looking great. Like these pipes look beautiful. Wall, everything else is looking really good. All right, cool. All right, Julia, what a cool thing that you put up today. I was like, I like they got some love. I like Diana's line of,
Thank you.
That's great. I don't want to go there. Or like whatever she said, it was really funny. And I love how like each iteration is better. Like this is cool. It's like cool, cooler, coolest, I guess. I love the snow element that you have in here. I love this glow back here. I don't really have any notes on this, I guess. Like, I would maybe throw some more light from the house around here just to get a little more shaping, just to get like a little bit more interest back there. But like, maybe make the snow on the roof a little bit brighter. But like, I guess not, man. Like, cause then it's just still I think it just looks great. And this is kind of my.
Oh.
What's that?
No, whoa! Yeah. I was just saying, wow.
No,
thank you.
Yeah, no, I don't really like. I don't want to mess with it too much because I think it's just working. I think it just works. And this is one of the benefits. I talk about like taking a shot and doing it 3 ways as like it looks great on a reel. But it's also like once you do it once, you gain this familiarity with the project. And when you go to do a second iteration, you can do it in like a third the amount of time. Like it's not, because all the hard stuff, like how are you going to break out the layers? Like how are you going to handle certain elements? Like you just kind of start to get a feel for the scene of like how something lights up well. And then you kind of position the lights in that way again. You can reappropriate lights for certain things. Or like reappropriate your atmospheric fallout for whatever and just kind of crank it up. But yeah, I think you've got such a nice hierarchy of like these dark elements in the foreground kind of leading up back here and then getting to these super brights back there. Like this is a full, sometimes I talk about like, we're kind of missing the brights, we're kind of missing the darks here. This is a full value range. And then like just implementing just that little bit of color in the doorway itself. It's not much, but it's enough to, yeah. I'm just going to stop talking about it because I'm just saying good things about it. I think it's really cool.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. I don't know. If you guys have anything, please shout. But
I mean, I think it's awesome. I would for sure just like put this as just one screen on your demo reel. The only thing, if it goes on a demo, I would just take off the words that say pure render comp 1 and comp 2.
Oh yeah, I would just leave it as the final.
Yeah.
I think it's cool like to present it as this because you're like, Yeah. And I think, because like this would be great on a comp demo, but or like to have to show all of it. But I just think like just show the image. The image itself looks great.
Okay, what I was thinking was maybe putting this and you know the render I did for the challenge a few months ago.
Yeah.
So the very pinky magic fantasy one, and maybe another one.
Yeah.
Another completely different mood.
Do it, because these. I mean, both of those are such strong stories. Like, let's see if I can grab the other one pretty quickly here. Just so you guys can see. Yeah. So like this is the other one. Like oh look at that. Look how well they pieced up together. Like how different are those? I love it. Same assets, same everything. Yeah. If you could do a third one, I don't even know what would be more different. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to imagine.
I don't know. They're pretty because these two are like at drastic ends. I don't know. Maybe it could just be like a normal day.
Yeah, that's actually how I approach them.
Yeah. I think just a regular old sunny winter day would be like a pretty ho-hum relaxing thing would probably be good. All right, cool. Yeah, great. Yeah, nailed it. All right.
Thank you.
All right, we got Kamran, and then we will do Keldon. So Kamran, I think, this is a really ambitious look at this one. Actually, let me pull in your reference one more time from I think it was yesterday. So things that we were working on, again, here's the reference. I'm pulling the original. Okay. Oh, never mind. I already marked it all up. So basically, we're trying to soften this edge. We're going to get some more rim light over here. And then the one thing that was working out really well from the reference was there's kind of like this haze that comes in through this window back here that drops behind our main character and allows the darker shapes of that to really pop forward. I thought that was really smart. So you've got it. Like you've added a little bit of haze back there that allowed that shape to really stand out. I think like I was looking for some of these like a couple of these like brighter hits. I think calling it rim light might have been wrong, but that would be the only thing I would do. But that being said, the biggest thing about this assignment is we just like this is just a sanity. It's just a check to make sure that you're able to like look at an image, dissect it, and start to add the elements yourself as you see fit. And I think you've done that and exemplified that really well. So I don't want to make people hold up too long on this. I think you're ready to move on to the next thing because I think you're kind of you're nailing the color. You're getting a good sense of things. Like your value structure is right. It's just like at this point it would just be hitting notes on something that probably won't be on your reel. And just like getting used to that functionality. So I think it's really good.
See. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. All right, Keldon, let's take a look at it.
Yeah, just that subtle large blue reflection on her eye there.
Yeah, that like again, it was only because it was the first frame. If it like happened halfway through the shot, it would have been fine. But like it's just like just starting out on it, like you want that you want to make sure that you're getting that connection to the eyes. Watch it through one more time. All right. Does anyone have any notes? You guys ready to unmute yourself so we can clap a little bit? All right. Here we go. All right. Good job, Keldon. Woo! All right. Really good job, man. I think this is going to be great. Like, get this final cut on your reel. Are you cool if I post this to the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, of course.
Great. All right, we'll do that, and then that's it for today. That's it for the week, guys. That's a great way to end it. That was not planned, but yeah, I think we'll get this on the reel, update that, take a look at that, and then you should.
Yeah, I'm super excited to start applying.
Yeah, do it. You got all the stuff you need. All right, great. Well, have a great weekend, everybody. This was fun, and I will see you all again next week. Again, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we'll do video critiques. Tuesday, Thursday, written. All right. Until then, have a great weekend, everybody.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.